I watch men sit there and argue with women for an hour and think they men. You ain't no man? You tell me that ain't the most feminine crap you could ever see in your life? That is feminine. A man says it's peace and we get it moving. I said what I said and that's that. I'm not standing there going toe-to-toe with no woman for no hours. That is crazy. And the fact of the matter is that we allow this to be normal because you know why? You've been taught by a very feminine man how to be masculine. You see a lot of people running around here with a lot of feminine energy. Feminine energy. And then you wonder why these women don't respect you.
Welcome to the Don't Let That Go Over Your Head podcast, starring Q the Boss.
Yo. Welcome back to another episode of Don't Let That Go Over Your Head podcast. They call me Q the Boss. Hope you had a very prosperous week. I hope a lot of people still in search of the best version of themselves. I hope people aren't making excuses for their inactive behavior with pursuing greatness. I hope that people are learning how to become accountable. You know, we have conversations nowadays. I realize that most people lack accountability. They won't see the decisions they made, but they'll see the consequences of the decision they made and then blame the person that's given them the consequences for the decisions they've made. When you really evaluate that statement, most people fail because of their decisions, the inconsistencies with their lives. Everything you say in life has to align with where you want to go. You can't tell me you want to get to California from New York and you're driving the wrong direction. A lot of us take detours. We make excuses for our behaviors. I watched a ton of video this week, and it's been disheartening to how many people are procreating little people who behave like little ignorant people. And they don't see that there's no success coming out of that. We have parents who basically regurgitate that lifestyle or recreate the lifestyle that they've experienced, and they think it's cute. You watch children cursing. You watch adults having conversations with young people as if they're the same age. One thing I've established from a long time ago, and I thank God my mother raised me that way, my mother never made me her friend. I'm not my mama's friend, I'm my mama's son. But in today's society, you have people who want to be their kid's friend. And with being your kid's friend, it's like a dog. If you let them lick your mouth, eventually they're gonna bite you. And that's what you're seeing these kids do. They're biting their parents because the behaviors that you allowed your child to do is only blowing up in your face. You allowed your child to interrupt in adult conversations. You allowed your child to voice opinion in conversations they have no right to voice their opinions about. When I was young, they told me that you keep a child in a child's place. And the issue is most people won't keep a child in a child's place, so the child puts you in your place. Let me say that one more time. Most people don't put a child in a child's place, so the child put the adult in a child's place. They start viewing you as a peer. They start viewing you as someone they can talk back to. They start viewing you as someone they can argue with, and disrespect. But initially, you never established the respect for yourself, so guess what? Your child set the boundary of what level is respect to them. In most cases, your child will come from a very immature stance on what is mature or what is respect. Because the adult's supposed to establish that, right? Someone said we have a bad connection. But again, that's the issue we have in today's society. Most of us don't want to be accountable for anything other than what we have. And I've learned that in today's society, we have to be accountable. I'm going to tell you something scary. When we use that term, a product of your environment, I realize that most people will justify their ways, but won't justify their parents' ways. Watch what I'm going with this. If you take a person who's failed, they're gonna say because their parents never taught them how to win, which I can understand to a degree. But then you create new people who you don't want to learn anything new to teach the new people how to be better than what you were. So basically, we're passing on generations of the same issues, never progressing, because again, it takes someone to say that enough is enough. Because if you're not full of the madness, you're going to keep eating the garbage. Eventually, you have to get full from it. You got to get tired of it. You got to say that this is enough. I'm not going to teach my children. I'm going to keep it real with y'all. And I'm not going to say who, but I got a family member that got some very ratchet children. And I don't allow my children around them. It's not because I think I'm better. Let me stop lying. I do think the way I raise my children is better. I do believe that. And I'm not going to cap and lie. I do believe that. Because I do hold my children to a certain standard of life because I hold myself to a certain standard. I carry myself a certain way. So you're going to get called bougie. No, it's called learning to do better because you know better. When you do better and when you know better, you do better. How do you claim to know better but still won't do better? I don't allow this person to have their children around my children because their children are too influential and too grown for their ages. They know too much. So therefore, I won't have this person around my child teaching my child 6, 7. I won't have this person around my child teaching ratchet lyrics to a song. Meanwhile, it's because you allow your children to listen to that garbage. A child should be very, 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 very structured. And also keeping things away from them so therefore they don't advance themselves too far. They don't understand the maturity, so therefore you're giving them information that they're not mature enough to even receive. You're having your children learn dictionary words when they have a kindergarten mentality. Imagine a 2-year-old say to you a big word. You're going to look at it like, wow. That is the same way I look at these kids who come from bad situations, who know things that are way advanced past their age. I say, wow. Why do this kid know this? There's a video of these young kids playing with fake weapons, right? And not only are they playing with the fake weapons, they got the crayons in their mouth as if they're smoking. And I'm looking like, where did they learn this mentality from? But again, we're going to keep blaming the children. But I'm like, wait, sometimes we got to backtrack and go back to these parents. A lot of parents are not healed from their traumas, and all they doing is pushing their traumas onto their children, ultimately creating bad children. A lot of parents won't hold themselves accountable for the decisions and the things that they do around them. I had friends, and I'm going to say this on record, I had friends that I knew growing up who mothers had a lot of uncles growing up. And anybody know what that means? And when I say this on record, I know people who had a lot of uncles growing up. And the fact of the matter, does that mean the mother was very promiscuous and she allowed too many men to come around her children? The one thing about my close friends, I didn't see certain things with their mothers. I got a homeboy here right now. I never seen his mother with a man. I can't say none because she did her thing on her time. And I wasn't her friend, so there wasn't things I would be able to see that she would do or that wouldn't do. I don't know. I always tell people my mother could have been promiscuous, but I never saw it. My mother would never do things in front of me that would misrepresent what she want me to see her as. And nowadays you have parents who do things around their children that misrepresent them from what their children should be able to see about you. I'm not sitting here saying that we should be perfect, but there should be a level of discernment of understanding what you allow and don't allow your children to see. We allow our children to see way too much. Way too much. I'm going to go on record and say I've never even seen my mother kiss a man before. I have never seen my mother kiss a man before. Never. And the reason being is because my mom did not want her adult situation to be involved in my childish situation. The product of your environment. I realized that these areas are programming and creating new people that is actually making the culture worse. When you leave something in mess for so long, the mess becomes normal because the person that's living in mess don't see that it's mess. They adjust to it. Simple analogy, if you take a father, let's take a grandfather, right? He gets into a tub. Jay, once the grandfather gets in the tub, he takes a bath. After he takes a bath, he leaves the water for the father to get in that water. The father takes a bath in that same water. Then what happens is the son, he comes along and takes a bath in what? That same water. By the time you get to the grandchildren don't even realize that they're taking a bath in dirty water because they only seen this. So it's normal to them. They're taking baths in dirty water and passing it on to next generations, not seeing it as a problem. the product of your environment. There are people who are procreating life and realizing that you're bleeding onto your children. I respect any parent who raised a child in trauma when they was healing from their trauma, but never pushed their trauma onto their child. Let me say that again. I respect any parent who was raised in trauma, who was healing from their trauma while raising a child, while they were healing from their trauma, and never pushed a goddamn piece of that trauma onto their goddamn child. Let me give you a round of applause. There were certain things that I experienced that I refused to allow my children to experience. There were certain things I would never say to my child. There was one woman one time, we was in a shop, right? And I said to her son, I said, sometimes women don't look at the emasculation of a man as an important thing because women don't understand respect for a man is his lifeline. Let me say that again. A lot of women don't understand respect for a man is his lifeline. A man not feeling respected can either A, make or break him. When a man don't feel respected, this man will not even want to pursue or do anything greater with his life. A man's lifeline is respect. It gives us a pulse. When a person has a pulse, it's because they feel respected. Men don't go where they're tolerated. They will always go where they're celebrated. And it's just the truth. So I said to this lady, I said, let me ask you a question. She said, what? I said, when you're mad, do you emasculate your son? She said, no, I don't. Her son jumped up and started crying. You know what he said? You do that to me. You do that to me. I said, what did she do? She tried to jump in there. I said, no, get out of this conversation. Let that boy speak his piece. He said, you call me every name there is. He said, every time you get mad, you say things to me that are so disgusting. The things that you tell me is the worst of the worst. You say it in anger. That is the perfect example of a mother bleeding onto her child. And guess what happens? That little boy grows up and he's very aggressive with women because of the fact that he couldn't be aggressive with the woman that he loved. The first emasculation for most men and children come from their mothers. Let me say that again. The first emasculation of a man comes from their mothers. The things you say to him that you tell him is wrong in anger, and then you justify anger as an excuse for your behavior. You justifying your behavior as an excuse to how you're talking to him. And then we create the nuance of women who believe that combativeness and argumentiveness and fighting with a man is actually the pro. But in reality, the willingness to work together and cooperativeness is actually a healthy person. The more people that argue how they don't need somebody is the most unhealthy people. For those who take advice from someone who always preach how they don't need a man or a woman, those are the most unhealthy people that you could ever get advice from. Because reality is a man will always need a woman and a woman will always need a man. Always. I'm a very masculine man, and I sit here on record and say that I do need a woman. Listen, I ain't say I need a girl. I say I need a woman. A woman. A woman. And this is the conversations we don't have. People don't have no level of discernment. The same lady, after I said to her, I said, look at what your son is saying. The way you speak to him. And then you wonder why he lacks confidence. I'm going to say this on record. Somebody going to get mad. And I don't care. A lot of the women have broken a lot of these young men, spirits as young men. They don't have a spine. You never taught him how to speak up for himself. Because anytime he said something that went against how you feel, you know what you do? You shut him down. You shut him down. Ladies and gentlemen, when your children are speaking, you have to be comfortable enough to listen to them, even when it makes you feel away. You shut him down. My son, I ask him, how do you feel? And when he tells me how I feel, I don't make it about how I feel. I listen to how he feels. But the problem is, if the conversation you're about to have with your child is making you feel away, what you do is you emasculate the person. You talk bad to the person. You disrespect. Which shows that it's an extreme level of a low IQ. Low IQ people love to call names. A low IQ person can't express themselves without being disrespectful. That's a very low IQ person. Low IQ people, the first thing they do is they go to calling names. You this, you that. I can get my point across and disrespect you without disrespecting you, but just telling you about yourself. I can simply say something like, I expected more from you. And the reality of all things is you're not acting to your level of potential. And if you're going to accept failure, I'm going to look at you in your face and say that I accept you for being a failure. You accepting failure, and this is how I talk. I don't have to call you the worst of the worst to make you feel like something, to make me feel better about me. And I'm going to tell y'all on record, most people that you see that talk negative to people is because they're projected. Most people feel so bad about themselves that they want everyone else around them to feel bad about themselves. Unhappy people don't like to see anybody happy. Unhappy people don't like to see anyone happy. That is the problem with the environments. 9 out of 10 times when you listen to people, they will point the finger at other cultures for the fact that you allow your neighborhoods to be dirty. When the hell did the neighborhood say, let's get together and go clean up our goddamn neighborhood? When does that happen? When was the last time our goddamn community got together and said, yo guys, let's go clean up our goddamn neighborhood. Let's go pick up the trash. Let's hold anyone accountable for throwing their goddamn food on the floor. We gotta stay here. We gotta live here. So again, we sit down and say, you know what? I ain't gonna say nothing. That's them. But you look dirty too because you live there. When I walk into a house and the house is dirty, I'm not looking at one individual. I'm looking at the whole goddamn house as dirty people. The one thing I've learned about owning the business is when a person comes into your business and they get any level of treatment from one person, they're gonna say the whole business is not good. They're not gonna say the cashier. They're gonna say the whole goddamn place. And that's a reality. But when you look at the fact that the product in your environment is people glorify the most foolish things, at one point in my life, and I'm gonna keep it 100 with you, I'm gonna go into my past. I used to believe that doing time was like an honor. I used to think it was an honor. Based on how I was raised, I thought that if you do time and you hold it down, you are the realest on earth. I know a guy right now who threw away his life. He had a friend. He was working at the U.S. Postal Service. And what happened? He was in a car with his friend. His friend had a weapon, right? He had a weapon. And when the car got pulled over, the friend who was heavy into the streets convinced his man to take the weapon. The guy took the charge, threw his whole life away. To this day, this guy's still fighting to try to get his life together. And this is what we call keeping it real. What's keeping it real is not being around somebody that don't in line with where you're going with your life. Let me say that again. What's keeping it real is staying away from people who don't in line to where you want to go with your life. I don't hang out with people that make excuses. I hang out with people that become the reasoning to why they're going to defeat their excuse. For instance, let me give you a knowledge. You say to me right now, yo, you know what? We're going to lose. I don't want to hang out with you. I don't want to hang out with you because you're already projecting failure because this is life and death in the power of the tongue. The more you speak negative, the more you will receive negative. Why you can't sit down one day and say, this is an obstacle, but guess what? I embrace it. Why when it's raining outside, you can't say, at least my grass get watered for free? Why you can't look at the positives in doing something that's going to help your life? You can't find nothing positive in anything that's going to make your life better. I was having a conversation with a guy. And at one point, I'm not going to lie, I admired him because he does have some recognition in the particular industry that I'm getting into. The more I speak to him, the more I'm starting to lose respect for him because of the fact that everything is an excuse. The one thing I realized, and I'm going to go on record and say this, and people are going to get mad, but I don't care. Most people I know that smoke marijuana on the regular, they're very lazy. They always got an excuse, and they're very inconsistent with their life. They want great things, but they don't have the discipline that it takes to get to the next level. And I'm going to say that again. Most weed heads that I know, they don't have discipline. I will never tell somebody that I've never seen somebody successful that abuse a substance. I've never seen anyone successful that abuse a substance. And most people gonna choose Snoop Dogg. When you're a whole cashier at McDonald's and you're talking about Snoop Dogg, you're not Snoop Dogg. You're not Wiz Khalifa. You are the girl or the boy that works at McDonald's that smokes weed. You are the guy that works at the post office that smoke weed. You're gonna fail. It's just what it is. Because I'm gonna be honest with you. If I go out, and this is how crazy we heads are, I'm gonna keep it 100 with you. Watch this logic, simple logic. If I go drink 7 days a week, right? Every day, the moment I wake up, I drink. I'm gonna fail. And they can see that as common sense. But the weed head can't see that if I smoke weed every day, it's the same goddamn consequence. That's when you know you're delusional as hell. And it must be the substance because it's going to your head, it's making you think foolish. Every person I know that abused marijuana, they're not doing that well. I'm sorry. I'm in real estate. I own a lot of houses. And every guy I know that's in real estate, they're very, very disciplined. Every guy I know that's pursuing and becoming successful, they're very disciplined. And the funny thing is, I was under the impression that the people that work less, right, is because they're rich. No, every rich person I know works even hard. They work hard. So I don't know this analogy, right? We're not talking about wealthy people. We're talking about people that are rich. Wealth is generational. These are people that inherited great situation. And I'll take you to Jamaica. I can show you a bunch of Rastas who live in sheds. You heard that? I could take you to Jamaica and show you a bunch of Rastas who don't live great. I could show you a bunch of Rastas who live bad. So these guys be crazy with their beliefs. And I've been to Jamaica 1,000 times. But I'm just trying to explain to y'all, the mentality, it's so delusional, right? And then we make that a standard. Oh, Movado smokes, but Movado's the exception to the rule. If it's 10 people and 10 of them smoke consistently, they're broke. And I bet you on my life, the person that said that's not true, they broke. I bet you. I bet my life, the person that said it's not true, they broke. What we'll do, that person that's there, DM me and you'll show each other our bank account live. And we'll do it on live. And I bet you they ain't got no money. I bet my life they ain't got no goddamn money. They live in delusion. And that's the problem with our culture. We are sick. And I bet y'all, remember that name, guys, he's not gonna show it. I bet you he won't do it. I bet my life he won't do it. We ain't got to bet. I'm gonna go on live with you. Make sure you stay on my live. I'm Master. Remember that name, guys. We're gonna go on live and I want him to show his bank statement. And don't show me no crap. He ain't gonna do it. Hey, bro, I don't want to believe that. He lying. Everybody rich online, bro. Come on, get out of here. They be lying. And that's why I said this is why our culture is twisted. Because you'll get advice from somebody that's losing. One thing I hate about social media is giving everyone a platform to look rich. I know dudes who don't got cars, but if you look on their gram, they stand in front of a bunch of cars. I know people who don't even have a place to live. They live in their mama's basement, but every time you look online, they're on vacation somewhere in a great hotel. It's social media. It's come out the other day. You know what came out the other day? That all the women who are quote unquote supplement influencers, travel influencers, you know what they do? They sell their vagina.
That is diabolical.
But it's the truth. All of those girls that you see that's traveling all over the world, you want to match what they got going on. Oh my God, I meet a lot of influencers, and believe you me, a lot of them are selling vagina. They're selling vagina. They're not gonna show you the little fat chubby dude they in Dubai with. They're not gonna show you the little fat chubby dude they in Miami with. They ain't gonna show you the little old balding guy that's in Delaware with. They're not gonna show you those guys. You know what they're gonna show you? They on the beach in Miami sipping a mojito. That's what they're gonna show you. They're not gonna show you their truth. And that's what people fall for. They fall for the delusion. Because again, social media has created a mentality where everyone feels like they have to pretend to be something they're not. And this is my word. I'm gonna say it on my own record. I don't care who get mad. Everybody I know that smoke weed consistently, they're not doing well. They're not doing well. Most of them are in handicapped situations. They live in a room, they live in a mama house, they live in somebody else's situation. I never meet nobody who smokes all the time and he's bringing me to his crib that he owns, he the man of the, I don't see that. I don't see that. It's always the lack of discipline. Everyone that lacks discipline, they always fail. And then they make excuses. And then they justify their behavior. And I'm like, everyone I know that's doing well, they're very disciplined and structured. It's just what it is. It's like a fat person telling you they don't eat a lot. In most cases, fat people eat a lot. There are some people genetically, they born, I'm saying, I know some girls, they have something called a hypothyroid. Those are different situations, that's medical. But we're talking about a regular healthy person that is heavy in most cases is because they eat too much. We live in a delusional world. The world is about acting like it's just so scary how people will believe that if I barely made it out of my neighborhood, right? If I leave my kid in that neighborhood, my kid gonna be better than what I was in that neighborhood. And the neighborhood only got worse. The neighborhood got worse. If you don't look at these little kids, right? You see the young kids who've been in the projects in the hoods for mad long? You don't notice they worse than what they ever been? They have no heart. Because the moment you leave something in it, everything advances. Everything gets worse. The longer you leave it, it adjusts to what it is. It gets more ghetto. It gets more ratchet. It gets worse because of the fact that it's there so long that it don't even know it's wrong. It's there so long that it don't even notice that it's wrong. And this is our culture. We took something that was supposed to be a luxury and made it a lifestyle. People drink and smoke, which is supposed to be a luxury. If you want to reward yourself on a Saturday night, blow out, that's on you. But we talking about people that religiously do it. And then if you ask them, I bet you some of those people that be talking, oh, it ain't my life. I bet you put their mom on their phone, their mama hate them, can't stand them. And that's a harsh reality. A lot of people they're junkies and bums on the handicap of someone else's life. And their life can only be sustained by living off of somebody else, which is crazy. And these are grown people who justify, I'm like, you rolling the L before you even feed your goddamn kid. And you think you're not a junkie? You ain't even worried about your priorities. Some of them don't even brush their teeth. They don't even brush their mouth. And that's a harsh reality. You see what I'm saying? You can't talk to certain people because they're delusional. And this is the sad part about black culture. Black culture has so many different cultures in one culture that we don't know what's wrong and right. The moment you advance your life, you get educated, you start doing better, you start thinking better, they automatically call you what? Bougie, right? Would you agree with that?
What is black culture?
Black culture is a mix of a lot of cultures. It depends on where we going with it. But I know me as a black man, I don't believe in being ghetto. I don't believe in creating children to act a certain way. I don't believe in children talking back to the adults. There's no way an adult can call my phone and tell me my son disrespected him and there's no consequence for my son. I'm not old school. I'm not gonna go put on Vaseline and go fight the father of the house. I'm checking my son. There is no situation where my son putting his hands on a woman will ever be justifiable. Ever be justifiable. It's a consequence. And my consequence is my foot going up your behind. You don't put your hands on no damn woman. I'm raised with morals, principles, and integrity. And I have a compass of logic. I watch men sit there and argue with women for an hour and think they men. You ain't no man? You tell me that ain't the most feminine crap you could ever see in your life? That is feminine. A man says his piece and we get it moving. I said what I said and that's that. I'm not standing there going toe-to-toe with no woman for no hours. That is crazy. And the fact of the matter is that we allow this to be normal because you know why? You've been taught by a very feminine man how to be masculine. You see a lot of people running around here with a lot of feminine energy. Feminine energy. And then you wonder why these women don't respect you. A lot of these women don't respect you. I go to those guys, right? You say, yo, my girl, I smoke every day. My girl respect me. I bet y'all put on the phone with me. Your girl is halfway out the door already. Halfway, 1 foot out the door, have no respect for you, talk crazy to you. The moment your woman starts disrespecting you is because you already disrespected yourself. The moment a woman starts disrespecting you is because you already disrespected yourself. Because a man doesn't put himself in certain positions. That's a rule. That should be a standard. When a man doesn't have standards, his standards will always be altered and moved. The goalpost is always moved for the person that doesn't want to see reality. There's 100 yards on 120. This is what the field is. I'm not gonna move the goalpost to justify my behavior. If a man ain't raising his goddamn children, he ain't no goddamn man. And a lady, if you sleeping with a dude that don't take care of his kids, you a bum too. You a whole bum. A whole bum. You messing with a dude that you know who don't take care of his kids and you think that is normal. You a bum. And for those men messing with girls who can't take care of themselves and they're grown, you messing with a child. That means something in you want control. But a lot of the times, if you can't control yourself, someone else will control you. And this is why you see so many men incarcerated, because they have something called a sense of lack of self-control. So if you can't control yourself, guess what? Someone else will control you. You don't even have the discipline to use logic. You believe you can do whatever the hell you want and win. To be a 30-something-year-old man and still think that you're going to get rich and your rap career is going to pop off tomorrow, your mother and father biologically first cousins, and I wish to God that y'all got some inbreeding going on in your home because y'all crazy. Y'all sick. Y'all sick. Because we talking logical. You don't have to tell me something that's common sense is common sense when it is already common sense. An undisciplined man will find every excuse to the reason why he's failing except himself. An undisciplined man will find every excuse to why he's failing other than his goddamn self. An undisciplined woman will blame every man for her financial lack because of the fact that she don't want to be a goddamn woman. How the hell you want to be treated like a woman? You don't even want to be a goddamn woman. You want someone to see you, but you don't see your goddamn self. The first person you should see every day is yourself before you start looking at others. We have a mentality where we don't like to be nothing but near accountable. And we creating a life of children who are the same way. Insecure, unaccountable, lazy as hell. I had a lady the other day tell me her son lazy as hell and she on welfare. Listen to that statement. My son lazy as hell, but you on welfare. You're on welfare. Like, come on. He was taught this. That's what he saw. Like, come on. Come on. You're complaining about your child being a bum when that's what he saw his whole life of you doing. That's what he saw. Your daughter's promiscuous because guess what? She saw you promiscuous. When a man doesn't have a man in his life, he will date like he will be a boy for the rest of his life. Did you hear that? If a man doesn't have a man in his life teaching him how to be a man, he will have a little boy in his life. He will always be a little boy. It takes a man to wake up one day and say, yo, this is enough. And what happens is, when a man is not there, this man never learns accountability. What he does is he always looking for the aiding and abetting of a woman because of the fact that he doesn't want to see that he's the problem. Let me say that again. I'm going to give you out this gym. Listen to this. You take a man who didn't have a man in his life. He's going to look for the same situation his mother gave him. His mother gave him a lot of excuses. Oh, you know he's going through something. He ain't going through nothing. Man, we're going to talk straight. He just lazy as hell. Get up off your behind. When you don't have that, what you do is you look for the women to give you the same excuses as your mother used to give you. And you know what happens? You start dating your mother. And every woman that will be with you has to be a mother figure to you for that relationship to work. Because you'll never wake up and look at yourself and like, yo, I'm bugging. I'm tweaking. Yeah, I'm dead living off a woman. You're not going to do that. You're going to say, you know what? It's not me. It's my mom. My mom didn't teach me. Your mother didn't teach you how to have sex, but you figured it out. Your mother didn't teach you how to have sex, but you figured it out. All we do is justify behavior. Yo, when I talk to a lot of men, the scary thing is all they do is complain. I've never seen so many men complain to the point I'm like, damn, you sound like a woman. Damn. Everything's, oh my God, I gotta do this. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. I'm like, fam, you need a hug. You need a hug. It's about to be the end of the world. Why? Because the power went out on your PS5. Oh my God, the power went out on my PS5. So what? Turn it back on. Men, we learn how to adjust regardless of whatever storm we're going through. We learn how to adjust. If a man doesn't see that he is the determining factor to whatever level he gets to, and it's not society, it's him. The closest thing to God is a man. And if a man doesn't understand that, he is not a man. And anybody that rebels against this is because they don't know God. The closest thing to God is a man. And if a man isn't acting like his creator, that man is not a man. He's a little boy. He's a little boy. And I say that to any man. If a man doesn't see that the closest thing to God is a man, then he's a little boy. He's a little boy. A whole little boy. You complaining about the things as a man we supposed to figure out. We got to figure it out. And what you do is you go around men who are figuring it out. Stop going around men who are pretending as if they already got it figured out. Stop going around men who are avoiding figuring it out. And you'll see that you'll start figuring it out. You are the circle that you keep. You go around the people that do the most diabolical.
That is diabolical.
Crap on earth, and then you wonder why you fail. And then you're going to say, you know what, these women, they don't know how to submit. I would never want my daughter to submit to know you. You a whole loser. And on top of it, you got an excuse for your losing. You blaming your daddy who was never there. Okay, your dad wasn't there. You might have some issues, right? There might be a level of trauma. I'm going to give you that benefit. But now let's go this way. At what point do you start saying, I need to work on myself? At what point do you say, I'm going to continue to do the same wrong things? My mother taught me how to eat bad, so I'm going to eat bad till the day I die, and I'm going to complain about my mother teaching me how to eat bad. Where does the accountability come in? You know it's eating bad because you don't want to say it's eating bad, so why don't you change it? This is how unaccountable humans are. And then we create this same ideology, and it goes on for generations and generations and generations, ultimately never getting anywhere as a culture because of the fact that we can't establish what is wrong and what is right. Our culture keep procreating what's wrong, and then we justifying it because of the fact that we don't want to sit there and say, this is wrong. This is wrong. This is wrong. To my young people on live, it is not bad to be intelligent. That's a good thing. It is not bad to raise your hand. That's a good thing. And 9 out of 10 times, the people that laugh at you for being intelligent is because they're slow. Of course they're going to tease you. We sit in rooms, even we go in places in life right now where the people that are smarter than us, when we know the answer, we don't say it because of the fact that we try to play down for the people that aren't that smart. The issue is you have it says something called an IEP. There are a lot of people running around here with IEPs, and the fact of the matter is you can't see it because they're not in special education classes anymore. They're in the real world. And these are the people that you look for acceptance from. They have an IEP. They have a learning disability. And I'm not dissing them, but I'm just saying this is the people you're looking for to teach you something. And this is the harsh truth. It takes the illest teachers in life are the ones who are the greatest. The illest teachers you will ever meet in life are the greatest students. Every great student has a great mentor. But I meet people who have nothing and they think they're a mentor. I had a guy the other day tell me, yo, he want to mentor some people. I'm like, fam, your life ain't even together. How the hell you gonna mentor somebody? Only thing you can do is mentor somebody how to be just like you. The sad part is the world we live in today, everyone is about pretending, posing, acting. And this is the culture we've created. Most people aren't who they say they are. And I'm just gonna tell you the truth. Most people aren't who they say they are. I'm gonna tell y'all something. I act like I don't have nothing because I want the world don't think I don't have nothing. I don't care. Because the people that already know that I won are the people that's the most important to me, which is my family. I don't care about nobody that's worried about being accepted because I've already been accepted by myself. I love myself. I don't care. Not a piece of clothes, not anything can make me feel significant more than what I can make myself feel. Because 9 out of 10 times, the people that project is about how they feel about themselves onto the universe. You see a bunch of people running around here fronting, pretending, lying. And this is the generation that we keep teaching. You tell a kid, you put a Band-Aid on a wound that needs surgery and then you expect it to heal properly. And you know what the Band-Aid is? Clothes, sneakers, a car. You can dress up poverty to look like it's not in poverty, but all it's gonna look like, struggling in poverty. That's all it's gonna look like. You could dress it up to look like it's so much more successful than what it is, but it ain't gonna be what it ain't. It's still what it is. My mother said as a kid, she said, if you take a dirty person and you put clean clothes on him, what is he? Said a dirty person with clean clothes. So she said, if you take a person that's broke and you put expensive things on him, what is that? I said, a broke person putting on expensive things. She said, this is what I don't want you to think like. And she said, that's the environment we live in, and that's their mentality. Their mentality is, your rent could be behind 6 months, but as long as you got on some Louis Vuitton, you feel like you the Don. Your light's about to cut off, and you worried about what you look like. Because again, it is easier to see what somebody has outside than what they actually have on the inside. And this is the same thing people do externally. They put on these masks and they pose to be way better than they actually are. The product of your environment, guys. It's a mentality that's being created to the point where socially we're awkward in our beliefs. We have a mentality that's creating our children to even think this foolishness. I kept my children away from certain people so they wouldn't teach them certain behaviors. I don't want my daughter to think it's abnormal to be a baby mother. I want my daughter to think that's not right. You have people, this is the scariest thing. I'm sorry. You have people who are scared to get married, but they'll have a baby with somebody. A baby is it's a lifetime commitment. And you're worried about being married to somebody. But you have a baby with somebody that you don't even see yourself marrying. And we normalize this mentality. You'll have a kid with someone you don't see yourself ever marrying, and you think that is normal. And then you get mad at anyone that don't believe in that ideology. That is a sick mentality. Why the hell am I have a baby with somebody I don't see I can marry? And this is what you've been taught. Because having a baby is under being married. No, having a baby is above being married. Because now you're teaching another life how to think, how to be, how to act, how to move, what to do, what not to do. And this is our culture. This has become our culture. And we procreate life. I have, oh my God, you can go on some crazy stories that you'll see people think. And then you'll laugh because you're like, yo, you sat there and really thought this through? I think a lot of people, before they talk, you know what I think they should do? I think they should say it out loud. Because if you say it out loud, you'll see how crazy you sound. There are a lot of people that sound crazy as hell. Crazy. Right? I'm going to let someone call in today. Someone tell me the number, please. I'm going to let someone call in today. Because again, we need to create a standard of what being, I'm going to say something, I'm going to go on record and say this, and I don't care what nobody say. Once you do certain things, you're not my culture. Let's have that conversation. We can say black is a color, but I'm going to tell you, my culture is beyond a color. My culture is a mentality. So for someone to attach themselves to me, they better have the same mentality, because that don't mean we're the same because we have the same color. Because everything in the wilderness, they have twins that look just like them, but yet and still they don't think the same. So guess what? While we can acknowledge that white people understand that there are different levels of white, while we can't acknowledge there are different levels of being black. There are different levels of being black. We're not the same. When you talk to a white person and they see a redneck, down south, hillbilly, they'll tell you that's not them. But how come you lump black people in a box and we all got to be the same? No. No. We are not all the same. Everyone, again, let me say this on record. Just because black people look alike, it don't mean we're the same. The reality is a mentality, it's an action. It's not the way you look. Because there are people that look just like you who will never think just like you. So the reality is, just because you're black, don't mean we're the same. But again, you say this, people get offended. Oh, you dissing black people. You talking crazy. No, I'm telling the truth. It took me a long time to accept it. You can't save everybody because everyone don't even think they're in problems. How are you going to rescue someone who don't even know they need to be saved? There are people in poverty and bad situations who don't even believe they need to be saved. They think you crazy because of the fact that you know how to read better than them. They think you crazy because you're teaching your children how not to think like them. They think you're crazy. So how can you help someone of that mentality when the fact of the matter is that person don't even see they're wrong in their mentality? The product of your environment. The product of your environment. I'm going to let someone call in 516-253-1150. One more time, 516-253-1150. As I said, we come on this podcast, we tell the truth. If someone don't like what I'm talking about, guess what? There's other podcasts you could go watch. Because I'm going to tell you the truth. I don't come on here and lie. I come on here and tell the truth. Men and women always work better together than anything. It's been like that since the beginning of time. It's proven that men and women raise better children when it's two households. And it's also proven that a man has a better success rate of raising a child by himself than a woman. And if a woman can't accept this, that means you are avoiding logic. Because a lot of times men give structure. That's the importance of a man. Structure. Because if a woman, in most cases, she'll feel bad for her son our daughter and let him get away with things that the father would never allow. My son can't talk back to me. My son can't buck up his chest at me because my hands work. My hands work. It's just what it is. I ain't never had that. I got a 23-year-old son and he's never raised his voice at me. And he's tall and bigger than me. Never. Because I'm gonna tell y'all something. For those who new parents, I'm gonna tell you something. My mom told me this as a kid. When a child is young, you have to raise something called fear. Fear becomes respect later in life because once you get older, you understand why you had to fear your parent. That's why. My mother said from young, she said, I raised y'all with fear and I wanted you to fear me. Because fear ultimately turns to respect. A lot of these parents that say, well, my kid could do this and this is why your kid is what they are. Because you made your kid feel like they were more important than the laws of life. A child has to stay in a goddamn child's place. Otherwise, the child will put you in a child's place. And I see how these kids put their parents in child's place. Because mommy and daddy never set the standard of what the child is. My kid can't get an old adult conversation. Yo, fam, step off. This ain't for you. This conversation ain't got nothing to do with you, buddy. And nor did I ask you. Love you, but guess what? Until you put on big boy pants, we're not gonna pretend as if you have on big boy pants. You can't be in a child room of the house talking about you the man of the house. That ain't flying. That don't make no goddamn sense because to be the man of the house, you gotta be the goddamn man of the goddamn house. Why are you running from the responsibilities of the responsibilities of the house, but you say you're a man? You say you're a man. Come on, guys. Come on, guys. Let's have some standards. Let's have some morals. Let's have some truth for ourselves. Let's stop living in delusion. And to any man and woman on my live right now, if you didn't know no better and now you're starting to learn better and you actually doing better, let me give you a round of applause. See that statement right there? Men do this. Listen, washing dishes ain't a feminine or a masculine thing. It's a cleansy thing. Having your house clean is having your house clean. Having your house clean is having your house clean. What matters is leadership. But in most cases, the men that have women fighting with them for leadership is because your woman don't see you as a man. And you cannot make a woman see something she don't see. You cannot financially be this guy you think you are when you're not the financial guy that you think you are. Because in reality, she sees her reality. She does more than you. She carries more weight than you. She pulls up more water than you. You telling me that you think you the man of the house? No, she don't see you as no man and she can love you. But guess what? She don't see you as no man. And you can't get mad at it. Because you know what y'all gonna say? It's gold diggers. No, 9 out of 10 women are something called stability diggers. Most women aren't gold diggers because most men don't have gold. And most of these girls have babies with guys that don't have gold. So that means most women aren't gold diggers. That means most men are delusional when it comes to logic. Reality is a woman expects you to lead by not just words, by action. A woman likes security, provision, and protection. The moment a man can't meet those requirements, a woman will never see you as a man. It's that simple. You're not a great provider. Okay, you can fight, but you don't want to fight a bill. You can fight, but you don't fight bills. I think your woman would rather you fight bills than go fight the person that's in front of the house making noise at night. Ladies, if you had to choose right now in my life, right, would you prefer your man going outside to argue with people in front of the house at night, or would you rather him fighting bills in the house? I want y'all to tell me what y'all think. Would you rather the man fighting bills out in the house or outside making a bunch of noise because somebody making noise? What would y'all rather? Somebody said bills all day. Bills. You know why women hate bills? I'm gonna tell y'all why. They're built different, right? Women are emotional. And when emotions get involved, it makes you irritable. It makes you, like you just can't control your emotions. We're talking logical. A woman, when she's not secure, she will always challenge the person that's not helping her with security. When a woman feels secure, a woman is so comfortably submissive, it's like you don't even have to tell her to do anything. I've never had a woman have to fight with me for manhood. I didn't have to go in the house and say, I'm a man, hear me roar. I lead by my actions. And if I don't see that the woman is submissive, that woman is not meant to be my woman. I reference the Bible. The Bible says that a submissive woman is the woman that's supposed to be a wife rather. A submissive woman is supposed to be a wife. A woman that's submissive could never be a wife. And if a man marries a woman that's not a submissive, he's a fool. If a woman marries a man that's not a provider, he's a fool. Because biblically, the Bible says that if a man don't work, the man don't eat. So you got to starve him out. That's what the Bible says. So if we're going to reference something, we got to reference something. Right? And this is the culture we live in today, where these guys pose as men who aren't men because they have a mouth. I'll fight you right now. Go fight some bills. Go put the Wi-Fi in the headlock. Go put the rent go tackle the rent. You want to jump on a man live talking about you do man, go fight some bills. Your mama been working for 60 years and you ain't decided one day that you got to take some of that strain off her goddamn life. Your mama got cankles now from all that work. And you haven't decided one day, let me go take some of this burden off my goddamn mama. And you're supposed to be a man. And you're supposed to be a man. Guys, I'm not lowering the standard of no man because a lot of men don't meet the requirement. Put in the work. There is nothing wrong with not being fully developed. But the problem is when you accept it not being fully developed and not putting in work. That's the problem. There's nothing wrong with a man that's working on himself. But there's a problem with a man who's not working on himself. Let me say that again. There's nothing wrong with a man who's working on himself. The problem is a man who's not working on himself. And then he pretends to be in a position that he's not. That's a problem because a delusional man is more diabolical than a woman. A delusional man is more diabolical than a woman, fam. Because again, emotions make you impulsive. So if a man is delusional, he's not logical, that ain't no man. That ain't no man. When I listen to these ladies say, he don't want to pay bills, I'm like, why are you even sleeping with someone like that? You might as well date your son. There is no way in hell I'm going to move the bar closer to dudes who haven't done anything to put themselves in a position to be a man. I'm not going to lower the standard of what a woman is because a lot of these thotties don't meet that standard. You want to be a thotty? The other day, a lady said to me, well, a lot of the times we good girls, you don't see them. I said, ladies, some of y'all stand next to hoes so much that we can't even tell who's the hoe and who's a good girl no more. Y'all dress just like them, y'all act just like them. Y'all, soon as, what's that song called? Back It Up by Juvenile? That come on all the girls on the dance floor. Back in the days, the hoes ran to the dance floor. Nowadays, everybody's on the dance floor. You don't know who's who. You don't know who's who. So many good girls stand next to the hoe so much that men don't know what a good girl is. We can't tell. Y'all act so similar. Y'all clock that T, right?
Take me through there, take me through there.
Take me through there, right? Y'all all doing it, right? Take me through there. So how do we know? And then you say, oh, these guys can't see. I'm like, yeah, they can't see because of the fact that you blurring the vision of what you want the world to see, but you look like something that you aren't. You blurring the vision. You telling me that you're this good girl, but as soon as I look on your gram, it looks like a girl that's either A, she's a thotty, or B, she's looking for attention. It's one or the other. Either way, it doesn't say security to me. A woman that shows her body all the time is not a secure woman. It's the equivalent to a man showing his money all the time. Let me say that again. A woman showing her body all the time is equivalent to a man showing all his money. It is two insecure people who clearly looking for attention. Gotta read that, Tyler? Gotta read it.
Malk said, what if the girl you date and make it a requirement for you to pay her bills? Like it's a requirement.
So what's his name, Malcolm? And Malcolm, you dumb. I'm saying what it is, you dumb. Because I'm gonna tell you something. How can someone make you do something? You're a grown man, fam. No disrespect, Malcolm, and I'm just talking to you as a man. There's nobody can make me do something that I'm not signing up for. There is no weapon to your head and say you have to date me. That means you let that go. If it's not for you, let it fly. And if the woman feels that she wants somebody to pay her bills, let her end up alone. Because at the end of the day, most people in society can't pay someone all their bills. Let me say that again. If she believes this ideology, right, then let her go. Because reality is, most cases, most humans can't pay all of somebody's bills.
Can I add on to that? Because that's a sponsorship. She told you right out the gate.
100%.
It happens every day.
100%.
Sponsorship.
Listen, when someone don't want to hear that, they're delusional. The scariest thing is when you have a woman say, well, I could pay all my bills. You grown as hell. You better be able to pay your goddamn bills. You're going to be homeless. Because if you can't pay all your bills, then guess what? That means you're living off somebody. And what is the difference between an adult and a child? A child is codependent. If you meet an adult that is still codependent, guess what? You just dated a child.
Won't they do?
Nasty work. Nasty work. And what you say right now is reality. But a lot of times we don't want to hear reality because we've been so conditioned to delusion that we don't even see that we're delusional. There are people that are very delusional. There are people that are very delusional. You know the one thing I've learned, and I want you to hear this? Every wealthy person, I'm not going to wealthy, every rich person I know, they act like they broke as hell. It's crazy. Every broke person I know, they act like they rich as hell. I don't think y'all heard me. Let me say that again. Every rich person I know, they act broke. Every broke person I know, they act rich. So you know what happened when I was broke? You know what I did? I said, I'm going to act like the rich. Rich people don't think like broke people. They have two different ideologies. A broke person will justify being broke by buying nice things to make themselves feel better about the situation they're in. A person who wants to do better, they'll say to themselves, if I keep wasting my money, I'm going to be stuck in this positioning. So guess what? I'm going to stop wasting my goddamn money. Otherwise, I'm going to be in what? The same goddamn position. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over, but expecting different results. People are insane. They're crazy. But again, social media has created this ideology where people can't differentiate real and fake anymore. And it's just a harsh reality. You have a Benz living in the basement. And you think that's normal. They go say, you hating, I could buy 40 Benzes. It's not hating. It's not smart. It's not smart. You want every vacation to come back to your job hating your job. Every day you go to work, you hate your job, right? And guess what you do? You go home, you take your shower, and you get ready for what? To go take yourself back to what? Your miserable job. And you repeat this pattern. You don't pick up a book to say, you know what, I gotta learn how to get off this damn plantation. I gotta learn how to get off this goddamn plantation. My mother didn't know money. I had to teach myself money so I could teach my mother money. My mother don't know nothing about money. Munch, you sitting here with me. I done lived in every goddamn place. I done moved in, Dre, I moved in so many goddamn places. They asked me the other day, what is my childhood home? I can't even tell you. I lived all over the world, bro. Am I lying? Now I want to hear you say, am I lying?
Absolutely not. And I want to read where it says, poor people try to keep up with the Joneses. Nah, get down with the Browns.
But I tell you, the mentality is, they asked me the other day, if I can give y'all one cheat code right now for success, right? One cheat code. Here's one cheat code. God gave us one gift. Here's the one gift he gave us. God said, even if you were born to a bad family, I'm going to give you the opportunity to choose one person that you can start a life with and you can call family and start your lineage over. I'm going to give you that opportunity. Y'all ain't hear me. They ain't hear me. Somebody's slow right now. They're not hearing this. God said, I'm going to give you a blessing. I'm going to give you a blessing. Here's my blessing I'm going to give you. I'm going to give you the ability to choose somebody that is not the way your family is. Let's say your family is horrible. But I'm allowing you to go choose somebody that is not what you grew up with. And you can change your whole lineage. But I'm going to see if you're going to choose it. You know what somebody going to do? They're going to date themselves and their family and they complain about the same positioning that they're in. He gave you an opportunity. You failed the goddamn test. He gave you an open book exam and you failed it. Y'all ain't hearing that. Just listen to that, Dre. I said, God said, hey, Dre, let's just say hypothetically, and this is a hypothetical situation, Dre, your family is bad with money. So, okay, I'm going to give you the ability to go choose your wife. So either A, you can go date someone who blends into your family, or you can go date someone who has a better mentality than your family. And most people go date someone who is exactly like their family. And then they wonder why they haven't gotten anywhere. Because you're dating your mirror. You're dating yourself. You're dating everything you learned. At what point do we realize that keeping it real ain't keeping it real because it ain't getting us no real better? At what point do we realize that keeping it real ain't real? Keeping it real ain't real. Sitting in the hood, staying in the hood. Yeah, I'll keep it thorough. Man, you failing. You're doing horrible. And guess what your children are? They're going to be in a worse financial economy than you were. And then you think that it's a white man holding us down. But it's a black man and a black woman who don't want to open a goddamn book. Somebody asked me the other day, why do I like to read? Because I was told as a young man that if you don't want them to know, put it in a book. So guess what? I went and got the knowledge that was in the books. I decided to go against every stereotype that they try to create. I'm always on goddamn time. What they say, black people are what? Always late. I'm always on time. Why? Because it was a conscious decision to say, I don't want the consequences or the failure of why these people failed. I'll watch you take a test, get your answer sheet, see the answers you put wrong, and then guess what? I'm gonna put the same answers and expect to have a great answer, a great result on my test. You go into class and you cheat off the person that's failing, and you think you're gonna win. You go in the classroom, you go sit next to the person who's doing the worst in the class, and then you study, you copy their answers, and then you think you're gonna win. Man, your mother and father hate you. You gotta be crazy. Like, come on. Damn. That is crazy. You go into a class, you sit next to the student that is failing, and then you copy the answers, right? Because you know why? You and that person you sitting next to, they disrupt the class. Because it keeps you away from looking at your reality. So what happens is you start getting so caught up in what you're not doing because it shows you what you aren't doing. You blocking it out. You're giving yourself noise. You're giving yourself a level of distraction. I'm asking everybody on my live today, I want y'all to keep it 100. When was the last time you went to the library? Don't lie. Everybody in the studio, Dre, when was the last time you went to the library? How long? Just say a number. 2 years, 5 years, 7 years? Me 2 weeks ago. You said longer than 5 years? Now, Dre, he's an advocate reader.
A week ago.
A week ago? Okay. But the issue is, someone said last week, someone said, damn, 96, Jesus. Woof. 96, bro. Yo, we're in 2026. Wow. But you know what, though? That person that wrote 96, let me give you a round of applause. And I'm gonna tell you why I give you a round of applause, because you're being honest with yourself. You can always change what you can acknowledge and what you can be honest about, you can always fix. What I'm trying to say, guys, you gotta start going places of the things you wanna be. People, places, and things are the determining factor to why most people aren't successful. They go around the wrong people, right? They hang in the wrong environments, and they're constantly doing the wrong things. This is why people fail. It's legit your people, your places, and your things. Watch this, I'm gonna stay with me. And I want you to answer this question. Munch, turn on the mic for a second. If I hang out with 10 successful people, no, let's say 9, and all 9 of my friends are successful, what am I destined to be?
Successful.
So that's your people. If I go to every place that's teaching me how to think better and giving me game and showing me how to win, what would eventually happen?
You'll win.
That's your places. Let me ask you something. If I open up books and I learn and then I apply what I'm learning, remember that word, apply what I'm learning, because a lot of people take on information and they don't apply. And I apply the information, what will happen?
You'll be successful.
That's your things. People, places, and things. It's that simple. But people don't want to change the people because they're comfortable. They don't want to go to new places because it makes them uncomfortable. And they don't want to do new things because it's showing what they really don't know.
And I am a master. If he's still in there, he said, what's the solution? I hope he learned something today. You just told him.
So
right
did you catch that? The solution is go into places that challenge you to think other than the way you think. Most people don't know they crazy because their immediate circle think crazy just like them. You ever heard the rapper who corny as hell but believe he's hot because he's around a bunch of idiots who don't have nothing and they think they hot? You know what I'm talking. We all know those people who have no careers. They think they next up. because they're around a bunch of people that feed their foolishness. They feed them it. Because all of them need this ego stroke to survive.
I am a master. We're going to shoot back at it. Q the boss. I want you to tell him, if you've been in a friendship for 32 years, right, and y'all can't put y'all heads together and be successful, would you call that a friendship?
I don't know. That's a struggle ship. Some people believe a friendship is a struggle ship. People maintaining struggle is a struggle ship. It's not a friendship. It's a struggle ship. Most people don't know the difference between a friendship and a struggle ship. A relationship. If you get in a relationship with somebody and you tell me and my girl been together 20 years, but y'all still live in the basement. Y'all maintain struggle for 20 years. I'm not impressed. When you can have a couple get together in 3 years and buy a house. You're supposed to progress as a couple because technically, in order to prove how successful your relationship is the growth. If there's no growth, that means the relationship isn't doing well. It's two people struggling together. In most cases, that is something called a trauma bond. It is something that's holding them there, and it's definitely not success. It's definitely not a partnership.
Can you say that trauma bond one more time? I think that went over their head.
In most cases, people date what complements their insecurities. So for instance, if a woman lacked resources growing up, her ideology is, as long as the man makes money, I don't care how he treats me. As long as he makes money, I'm willing to commit myself to that. I'll give you a story. At one point, most women, where I grew up around, were very disrespectful to the men, right? In most cases, most men go on and look for women that are usually disrespectful to the man because they become accustomed to it to the point where that trauma they experience, they don't feel comfortable without it. There are some women that, you ever met a woman that said, if you don't put your hands on me, I don't want to be with you? Because she comes from abuse. So she's gotten so immune to her abuse that she don't see that this abuse is abnormal. We've become so accustomed to struggling that we don't see struggling as abnormal. We've become so accustomed to failure that we don't see failure as abnormal. We learn what we learn and then we create the next life to think the same way, and it gets worse. You get so accustomed to struggle that your children don't even realize what struggling is. Because you know what you're gonna do? You're gonna put Jordans and clothes on them so they don't feel like they're struggling. You gotta teach your children how to respect money so money can respect them. That is the difference of the last generation. A lot of us don't respect money, so guess what? Money don't respect us. When you have a child tell you, yo, it's only $5, guess what? You're already teaching your child wrong. Because I don't care if it's $1, $10, or $100, your child should know that I had to work hard for this. No one came and gave me free money. Respect every quarter, nickel, and cent. You got millionaire Jewish people who will pick up a penny. And you got people that ain't worth $1 who will walk past the goddamn penny. Did you hear that? There are millionaire Jewish people who are millionaires will pick up a goddamn penny, and you got people who are broke as hell who will walk past a goddamn penny. Matter of fact, I make a quarter, a nickel, they'll walk past it. But the reality of life is you gotta start at one to get to $1 million. But if you're not willing to start at that one, you ain't never gonna get to no goddamn million. Because you're worried about somebody seeing you picking up a goddamn penny. I feel like we laugh at people, right, for the most dumbest things. A person struggling, a hustling rather, right? You get up, you go do Uber. He do Uber Eats. So what? He's hustling. She's hustling. I don't knock nobody that's doing something legit to elevate their life. Because struggle won't look like struggle today tomorrow if you busting your behind today. Things get better when you start making the sacrifices today. Most people's story is the same story because they're unwilling to do things that can change their story tomorrow. Everyone is looking for the easy way through life. And I'm going to give you the cheat code. There is no such thing as an easy way through life. I'm going to say that again. The cheat code is there is no such thing as an easy way through life. And the faster that anyone and everyone understands that is the faster that most people can change their life. There is no shortcuts. Most people that have taken shortcuts has end up in a graveyard or in jail or in a bad situation. It's like playing the lottery every day, waiting for your numbers to hit. I got people 50, 60 years old talking about, boy, my number's coming in this weekend. I can't wait. You've been doing that for 40 years. If you sat down right now and took that 40 years of money and you invested that 40 years of money, you'll be in a better position than you are today. Our culture got to wake up. Ain't nobody gonna hit that. You know, y'all keep hitting that snooze alarm. Every time that snooze go off, you snoozing. But the opposite of snooze is lose. While you snoozing, you losing. right? We wake up, we making things happen. We don't make no excuses. Everything can't be an excuse. Sometimes you gotta look at life and say, yo, it's me. It's me. I'm wildin'. I'm lazy. I'm undisciplined. I'm inconsistent. I lie to myself. I'm not truthful. I don't respect myself.
Would you say we living in a time where things is illusional to where it's hard for somebody to keep it real?
They got one of the realest
Some
things.
people trying to keep up, and that's why they just do certain things and not even being themselves. Would you agree with that?
Would you say that right now? You know me personally. Right now, you sit on live with one of the realest people I know. And it might sound arrogant to a person that ain't real. I'm real as hell. I don't lie for nobody. I don't cap. I don't pretend. I live in my truth. And I'm comfortable in my skin.
And I asked you that question because your rawness, I feel like they don't blink twice. It's like Wi-Fi and they're cut off. Something that you will entertain that grasps your attention. But then certain people that's adults, that's mature, you'll get more claps and praise on here than you'll get a troll. And we can go up and down this live right now. That's why I watched all the live.
But the reason why you take a troll though, right? And the reason why I don't worry about them is because when you start hitting too close to home, most people will go hide under their bed.
Cook.
So when you look at the fact of the matter is they getting insecure because I'm hitting home. Rather than look at themselves in the mirror, they're going to run from the mirror and make an excuse to the reason why they are where they are.
They're going to look out the window
Yes.
instead of looking in the mirror.
Most people will say that they grew up as kids. Watch this though. When they were kids, right, they was taught that what? The teacher was the problem, right? You failed the class because the teacher was the problem. And now you're an adult still blaming everyone other than yourself. When that child was a child, they never learned accountability. That kid is an adult still blaming the teacher for the fact that they failing. And until they learn to look in the goddamn mirror at themselves, they're going to always blame everyone other than them goddamn selves. I was the reason for my failure. I was the reason I went to prison. I was the reason I got in the gang. I was everything. And I'm every reason why I'm going to be goddamn successful. Because all of those excuses, I made it fuel to why I'm going to be great.
I mean,
and that's the issue when you're dealing with humans. Most people look for reasoning opposed to what is your why? What is your why? My why is my family need me. My why is if I don't make it bigger than me, God won't make it big enough for me. And he's making it bigger than me because I'm making it bigger than me.
take your time. I mean,
And this is what we don't understand. I told one of my boys, he said, yo, Q, I need to spend out. I said, as long as I got a home, always got a goddamn home. I'm rich, you rich. We lit. Ain't no one person. We move together. We're a team.
Wolfpack.
That's how it's supposed to be. I tell you, the cheat code to success is family. The moment you don't understand how important family is, you'll never be successful. Every person that's winning has a goddamn team that you don't see. That golf player has a caddy that you don't even know that trains them. But you know what you're going to see? Oh, he just hit a ball 100 yards. You ain't going to see the people behind it helping him with his stroke that's telling him the truth. You don't see that rapper that's being told that song is whack. You don't see that person that's saying, you know what? Oh, the money's coming back wrong. We got to check these numbers again. You don't see the accountant to the business owner, right? You don't see the banker who's telling you how to move your money over here so you can get cash back on his credit card. You don't see those things. You only see success. When I see a successful person, I want to know the story to the reason why. I want to know why. I want to know why. What made you want more? I don't want to see somebody's end story. I want to see their beginning story. My family needed me. That's what made me grow up. I'm going to go on the story. I can say this. Wait that mic for a second. I'm going to say this. Watch this. When I came home, right, my son was in foster care. People tell their little sob stories all they want, but like my son was in foster care. And me being a little boy, my son ended up in foster care. I looked at my son one day and said, I remember I went to family court to try to get custody of my son. And my son was sitting with a person with a clipboard. It don't matter if they was white, black, blue, or green. They work for the state. They standing on the opposite side with a clipboard. And my whole life summary of who I am as a man is on a goddamn clipboard. And the person that judged my fate right now is in front of me as a judge. I have a kid in front that's sitting right next to this man that I love more than anything in life. And I can't even take my goddamn child home because I'm making the wrong decisions. And I said, oh, hell no. Hell no. Hell no. My father ran for me. And what makes me a better man if I run for my son? What makes you better? If your father was an alcoholic and you a weed head, you ain't no better. You're no better. We got to break the cycle. My mother didn't know financial literacy, but I do. So guess what she knows now? Because I know it. That's how you learn. You move forward. We progress. We learn better. We do better. We don't keep making excuses. That's a failure's mentality. When you justifying why you're failing, but don't see that I need to do better. You don't say I'm fat because I'm going to just be fat. You say I'm going to get my behind in the gym. I'm going to eat better. Because everything you put in your mouth is a choice. Okay, I'm depressed. We all depressed. Okay, I went through trauma. We all got trauma. Ain't no human walking earth right now that don't come from some level of trauma. Somebody had to bury their mother this morning. Somebody had to bury their father this morning. I told my man, I watched my man lose his mother young, but I said there's somebody that never met their mother. The mother died in the hospital the day he was born. When you're able to see your life and you're able to put yourself aside and look at other people, that's when you truly know God. You can't know God if you're always making you first. There's no way. If I go around dudes flexing because I'm doing better than them, I'm a loser. And that's only the devil's work. Because all you're doing is pouring. It's like going around people who don't got no food and you eating in their face. That's the devil. But you're not teaching them how to go eat. You're not showing them where the food is. You're no better. You're no better. In order to create better, we got to do better. And the only way we're going to do better is by acknowledging what is better. Our culture is not losing because of no one other than ourselves. There will always be powers that be, but I'm going to tell you something. I'm a big black man. And I was born and built to conquer. Ain't nobody going to stop me from winning. You crazy? I ain't never met no man or no woman that can stop me. Because I know I am who I believe I am. And once you believe you are who you are, ain't nobody can stop you. Ain't no white man. He can't make me not open no book. He can't lock me up if I ain't do nothing wrong. I pay my taxes. So the reality is when you look at yourself in the mirror, the only person that's stopping you is you. And the day you accept that is the day you'll accept the greatest version of yourself. Life is about conditioning. Some of us need to break our conditioning. Our mentality. Stay away from losers. It's contagious. It's contagious. You go around certain mentalities, it pulls you back. You know why he's here right now? Because he said, Q, I like to be around you because of our conversations. Every time I see Jason, we pass on information. That's all we do. We don't talk about nothing dumb. We talk about fatherhood, being good men to our women, and raising our economical status. That's what we talk about. I don't talk to nobody that wants to talk about foolish stuff. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. And I will say this again before I get out of here today, the excuse is a reason for failure. And as long as you continue to make excuses, you're going to fail. There is no one greater than you in your life, but other than God. Let me say that again. There is no one greater than you in your life other than God. It starts with you. Because if you're not the greatest version of yourself, your children will never enjoy who you truly can be. When I became happy, I think my kids fell in love with me. I think my son was frustrated with me because I was frustrated with myself. I used to be very aggressive, very angry. You grew up with me much, but because I was mad at myself. I wasn't mad at my mother. I wasn't mad at my father. My father was an excuse. But in reality, it should have been my goal to be a better version than him. I use that as my fuel. My daddy not being there was no excuse for me to fail. Because you sitting behind a jail cell right now crying about your daddy not being there. Your daddy's still out here living his life. Who failed? You gave away your life. But I'm going to show you that I can be better than you. That's the goal. That's the win. Guys, I love you. Till next time. Don't let that go over your head.